Hello everyone and welcome back to my tutorial, and today we will talk about the model in place. Yes, I know that most of you know what is that model in place, but some people still don't know how to use the model in place, don't know the tools of the model in place. So in this tutorial I will cover all these tools in model in place and we will create all of them, and I will try to represent you all this function what we have in Revit. So let's get started. And as always, we will create the new project, and we will do it together. I mean, all this model in place we will do together. So let's go to the file and let's create the new project. As always, I'm using the architecture template. You can use it too, because we don't need any special things. So here we are, and before we will continue to create something interesting, let's create some few walls. I will create walls with connected up to the level 2, like 5 something meter by 9 something meters, and let's create the floor. All these things we need only to place our model in place and make some real situation, you know, just not making we want to use the imagination. So okay, here we are, here is my walls, here is my floor. I'll change my graphic style to the smooth lines, and shadow I will create the cast shadow. Now I'll understand better all the things, and I will switch off the ground shadow. I don't need this shadow. Okay, done. So our first things we already finished, and let's continue with model in place. First, where is the model in place? Model in place you can find here. You just go to the architecture and you will find here under the component. But before you will use this button, you need open all these functions. So you need click on this area. So let's click on this area and you will see here the model in place. Yeah, this is what we want. So let's click on that model in place, and first, to understand what's going on now, Revit asking us, you want to create some new object, but which category of this object will be? So it means if you want to create, for example, some balustrade, it will be something like a column or wall. So you understand that these things, right? So if you want to create, I don't know, like sweeps around your window, will be maybe wall, maybe some generic model. Actually, this is not so much matter which category you will use, but better to keep it up. So for example, if you are creating something like a wall, choose the wall category. If you are creating something like a mesh, use the mesh category. If you don't know which category it should be, use the generic model. So that's I will use right now. Let's use generic model and say okay. And as always, yeah, don't forget about the naming. You should do it properly. Don't say like 111 or final one or old 111. Just properly name. Okay. So now I will use the extrude tool. So I know what I will use, so that's why I'm saying like extrude. So let's make the extrude and let's say okay. Here we are. Now we have like a few more tools, and we will continue work with these tools. And as you already understand, if I called extrude, we will use the first extrude. But before I will do, let's talk about the tools. As you can see here on the left or top direction, on this ribbon menu, you can see here the tools for creating the forms. First tool, this is extrusion. We will talk about it right now. After that, blend, revolve, sweep and blend, and void forms. So we will cover all these tools today, and you will understand how it's working. So right now we will start from the extrusion. So let's start from the extrusion. As you understand, extrusion it's simplest one. You just should create the profile and extrude it. Done. So this is not much the function as you can think. As you can see, I will unswitch off it. I will go back to the create. As you can see here on the again on the ribbon menu, we don't have a lot of the function. As you can see now, we have only the few one because we are now inside in family, so we are model in place. So this is like create a family inside the project. Okay, and you can see you cannot use your standard tools before you not will finish your model. So if you don't want to create it, just click on cancel model. If you already finished, just make it finish, done. So till you not will do one of that for function, you not will go back to your project. Don't forget about that. Okay, let's go back to extrusion. Here is our extrusion. Let's select the extrusion, and what we can see here under the draw panel here, you can see we have like standard draw tools. We can draw by line, by rectangular, some cycle, and some NURBS form, and blah blah blah. Here a lot of the function. Also, we can of course use the pick the line. You can use the pick the line and just pick the line where you want to place your model. Okay. The rule about the extrusion: your extrusion should always be closed, so you cannot create something extrusion like this. As you can see on this side, it's not connected, right? So if I will try to make now extrusion, I'll say okay, I will get this error message. Revit saying like we cannot do that because your two dots not connected, as you can see here. Don't forget about it. Let's continue sketch and let's make it right. We will close it. As you can see, I close it. Why I'm doing in 3D? Because you will see directly right now what's going on here. Before I will say okay here, till you not will finish it, you cannot use some function. As you can see here, we cannot use the sum function. Okay, before I will do that, I will show you my set work plane. As you can see, here is my set work plane, and I'm drawing now exactly on the level 1. But you can choose the other some work plane, your work planes. For example, you can pick the plane. I can pick the plane, for example, maybe some this direction. Now you can see it's going up. Maybe I wanna pick other one. Let's pick the other one, this one, and now our profile going on the level 1. So we will talk about later on. So let's say okay, and we get our extrusion. As you can see, we get here a lot of the joysticks, so we can use like this joysticks and make it more correct. So we can even extrude it much more than we want, and let's make it like this, so we can manipulate with this form. But also we get some new functions. As you can see, we have here already, if you are creating the family, if you know how to create the family, you already know that function like extrusion start and end. As you can see, start it's 0, here is the 0, and end 3000 meters, so end it's here. It cannot be equal, so I cannot make 0, 0, here 0, and here 0, because you not will create any form. Don't forget about that. And you also think about your start and end. It's a bit complicated. Okay, and also you can create some parameters. We will talk about it later. Don't forget about the materials. If you need materials, you can apply your materials right here. Let's apply some material. Just click on the right side, on this right side, and you will go to the material library. So let's use some material. It doesn't matter, for example, aluminum. Let's say aluminum, double click, and it's already aluminum. Let's check it out on the realistic. Looks like maybe like aluminum, but I am 100% sure it is aluminum, as you can see. Okay, nice, everything okay. Let's go back to the hidden line. As you can see, we now created extrude form. After that, you can say just finish this model. Now this model, it's you still can control it by these things, but we not finish with our generic model. So let's go to the architecture, and as you can see now, our first menu it's already going back to our project. So now we can working with our project. We already finished to create our model in place, but still you can make some manipulation, as you can see I'm doing right now. So okay, you know how to create extrusion. This is simplest one, and let's continue with the other tools. Okay, let's delete this form because we don't need it right now. Let's delete it, and let's go back to the component. Let's go to component and model in place again. Again, let's use the generic model. This is like a simplest one for us, and let's call it, I don't know, let's say 1. We will call one like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we will talk about the blend. Blend, it's also the extrusion, but the blend have two different, as you can see here now on the GIF video, the blend have two different profiles on the top side and on the bottom side. So you should create not only one profile and extrude it, you should create like few profiles, actually two profiles, and after that Revit automatically will extrude it. Let's go to the blend. Now Revit waiting when we will create our first profile, our bottom profile. So let's create, for example, our bottom profile will be cycle, right? I will create it right here. And now it's not finished. As you can see, we cannot place the finish. Now we should use the edit top. So let's click on the edit top. And now I will use the same, the cycle, but I will do it a bit bigger. As you can see, I'm doing it a bit bigger. Okay, now as you can see, we're able to finish. So let's finish it. We finish it. And before I will start explain what's going on here, let's have a look on the our extrusion. Second end, it's 250 millimeters. It's not enough. Let's make 3000 meter. 3000 meter. Let's enter it. And as you can see now, second profile on the 3 meters, and our bottom profile, and it's exactly on the first level. And what's going on here? We get actually the shape with the extrusion, but our profiles on the top and our bottom is different. Actually, it's not about the same shapes. You can mix the shapes. So let's say I'll create on this area. Actually, you can create in one model in place few shapes. So this is possible. As you can see, I'm not finished with the model in place, but I'm able to create a few more models. Let's go to the blend and let's create one more shape. Also, I will make here the cycle like I did before. And for the edit, I will create, let's go to the polygons. Let's make the sides only, let's say 4. This will be actually like diamond. So let's make it like this. And let's say okay. The same thing I will make here the 3000 meters. Or 3000 millimeters. And as you can see, now our bottom profile is cycle. Our top profile, this is cube. And it's automatically trying to connect it to the Revit automatically trying to connect these two forms. So this is called blend. I will create one more shape to understand it better. For example, let's make here a triangle, like 3 sides only. Here will be triangle, right? Okay, and the bottom side will be, let's make a hexagon, 6. And let's make the hexagon here, like this. Why not? Let's make right now 3000 millimeters. You can do it after the shapes will create. Let's finish it, and as you can see, we get these nice shapes. Now our triangle transferring to hexagon. Cool, right? So this is what about the blend. You can mix it, you can even place it in one side like this, and you can even join it. Let's join this form and this. Now this is like a one form, and I can also join this form to here, right? Why not? Just join all of that and you get some complicated form. This is what about the blended. Let's go to the other function. So the first again we'll delete this form, we don't need it anymore. Let's go to the again component and let's find again model in place. Let's use the generic model as I did before. Here's the generic model and let's do the 2. Okay, now we will talk about the Revolve. Revolve, it's a bit complicated than we did before. Let's use this Revolve. We have like here the 2 option, boundary line and axis line. And before we will create something, we should create our axis line. Let's create our axis line. And now we should place it somewhere. As you can see, my working plane now this is flat, so it means my working plane now it's level 1. Let's use it for the first shape, this work plane. Let's draw the line. As you can see, I'm drawing the line exactly on the working plane, and after that go to the boundary line and let's draw something only on the one side, on the left side or on the right side. Okay, so let's do something interesting like this one, maybe that one. Just doesn't matter. It's you should create something on the left side, and let's make it till here, and let's continue to connect it. Don't forget about again connect it. You should connect one line to the second line. Okay, let's say okay. As you can see, we get our shape. Now it's rounded around the axis line. Also, we can make some more interesting shape. Just select your shape. Let's go to the edit revolve. And what we can do, we can select all our profile and a bit extend from our axis line and say okay. And you will get the whole. So the distance between your profile and your axis line, this is radius. Don't forget about that. Okay, so we get it. As you can see, this is shaped like this, but this shape it's exactly on the level 1. You cannot make it, you cannot rotate it. So let's change the story, and now we will change direction. Let's finish this model, and actually no, we will do this in this same model. Let's go back to the create, let's go to the revolve, and first again we will choose the axis. But before we will do that, I will show you how you can change the work plane. Set work plane, after that pick line, or go here. No, you don't have any choice here. Let's go to pick the plane, let's say okay, and let's pick this plane, for example. And as you can see, our working plane now is vertical. So go to the axis line, and let's draw some axis line here, like this. Now I will go to the boundary, and I will draw something here, like this, again, something draw to understand how it's working. Okay, and let's connect it. I will use the trim, and let's say okay. As you can see, we get the shape now exactly standing on the side. Okay, so now you understand how the working revolve. Actually, this really simple. You have the axis line, and you should draw your profile. Done. So as I said before, we will finish this model, and let's delete this model. Okay, let's create the new shape, model in place, and again I'm using the generic model. Let's say this will be number 4. And now we will use the sweep. Sweep is most interesting the tool, because by sweep you can create something interesting on your wall, for example. And I will show you right now. Let's go to the sweep, and you have the 2 choices here. Before you will create something, you have 2 choices. You will draw by sketch, so you will draw by line, it means, or you will draw by edge from your 3D. So if you will draw by line, you should create some line somewhere, like this. If you will choose the second option, you should select the edge where will be your line. So I'm using, for example, this edge, and as you can see, it's 3D, it can continue anywhere. So it can be going rounded, but don't forget about these situations. You should make it like this. You should make the connected. It cannot be like this, for example. It cannot be extending. Let's check it out here. So everything perfect. As you can see, here is our pathway. Let's say okay. It's not finished. Now you can see here the X plane. This is actually our working plane. Now our working plane, not that one, this one. So if you want to create your profile, you should make the select profile, and after that edit profile. And now you can see our working plane is that profile. So let's go to the front view, because we will see it better, and let's draw our profile. So everything about the profiles, you should draw profiles, a lot of the profiles. And let's draw something like this again. Okay, and let's connect. Let's say okay. So we finish our profile. As you can see, we finish our pathway, and we can able now to finish this sweep. Let's say finish, and as you can see now this profile following our line, and doesn't matter which direction, on 3D direction, as you can see. This is really interesting because you can create a lot of the things. And the one more thing, if you will say okay, because if you remember, I said this is 3D. 3D edge, you should choose the path and it will following. So as you can see, it following your 3D edges from your object. So if you will change, for example, edge location, this one, it will following too. So this is really cool. Let's go back. Let's go back to our changes, and let's delete the sweep. So we finished with the sweep. Let's continue. Let's create one more model in place component. Again, generic model. Okay. Let's leave the name as it is, and this is last one for this tutorial. And the next tutorial we will continue to talk about the model in place, but this is last one for today, sweep and blend. So as you understand, sweep and blend, it's the same thing like extrude and extrusion and blend. The things, it's only here we don't have any path, so we have only extrusion. Here we have the path where we'll go our extrusion. That's it. So anyway, I will show you how it's working. So let's go to sweep and blend. Again, we have the by sketch and by the path. So now you know how working the path, and let's use the sketch. I will select the sketch, and let's say I wanna make something like arc, as you can see, like this. And now you can see the first difference. Let's say, okay, the first difference, we now have two working planes, one working plane and second working plane here. So it's make this working plane, this is select profile 1. The second working plane, this is select profile 2. That's easy. So, and I'll show you right now how it's working. So let's select profile 1 and let's edit our profile. And as you see now, profile 1 is activating. If you will click on the show the working plane, you can see your working plane right now. And let's create some blend things. Let's say I will do here, for example, profile like this. Okay, done. First profile is done. Let's go to the second profile and let's edit the second profile. Now as you see, activating the profile number 2. Let's draw here, for example, the arc. I will draw it here, the arc, something like this. Don't forget close it. You should close it. You cannot have like just a line. Okay, and let's done it. Now we have two profiles. One profile here and the second profile here. So don't forget, this first profile is here and this second profile is here. Okay, we're done with that, and now you can say finish. Let's finish it, and as you can see now, Revit making the like smooth changing your shape from the rectangular to the arc, and it's really cool. As you can see, you cannot even understand where is this point when your rectangular going to the arc. Okay, this is pretty simple, as you understand, and let's create one more shape from the sweep blend with the pick path. We will use again this path. Don't forget to use the trim, because now for Revit this is two different lines. Let's use it like this. Let's use like this. Let's say okay, and let's create the first path. I mean the first profile. Again, something interesting. You can create something like that, maybe like that. Say okay. And the second profile, it will be, let's say, again arc. Why not? Again arc. Don't forget close the arc. And say okay. And one more time okay. And as you can see, it's again changing direction and shape. Okay, for now you understand how to use all of these tools. This is basic tools. Try it, play around. You will have some questions. Don't forget just ask on the comments if you not understand something. Try it a lot of the times. Try to create some different profiles. And the next tutorial we will create some complex shape. We will use the voids. We will use not only one tool. We will use the complex tools together, and we will create something interesting, the forms, and we will try to make it exploded and whatever. Anyway, for today it's finished. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time. To support my channel, you can go to Gumroad, check that my store. There you can find a bundle of this Dynamo scripts, or you can buy
2-story complete house or even the 2-story residential classic house. By this way you supporting my channel and you making me happy to creating the new videos for you guys.
And that's it from today. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe my social media, leave some comments for this video and give some like, and see you next time.